Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, and by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Now, maybe you're an overlander. You love to camp in something like this. Maybe you just love camping in a tent. Maybe you're a racer. Well, you know, all those things happen predominantly in the summertime, and you know it's hot. And if you're like me, you're irritated because it's hot. There's a way around that though, Jonathan. Zero Breeze. Give me a snapshot of what this does.
So this is a game-changing product. It's a portable air conditioning unit, battery powered. Each battery lasts about 5 hours, is what we say. 2,300 BTU. It's rated to cool 40, 50 square foot. If it's insulated, maybe a little bit more. You're looking at a 25 to 30 degree ambient temperature drop.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how does it work? It's a super simple machine.
So it is a compressor with refrigerant, closed loop system, no maintenance needed. Don't need to replace the refrigerant. Works as a dehumidifier, as most air conditionings do.
when it's in my vehicle, then first of all, how to get rid of that condensation?
Yeah, so we have a condensation port right here. It comes with a little tube. Put it in and just drain that wherever.
There's ducting for it in and out. You've got to exhaust that hot air.
Yeah. So ducts clip on the back, duct that out where you're trying to cool. If you do have the unit out, we have a front duct for the return air and the colder as well that you can duct into where you're trying to cool too.
How much control do I have over temperature and fan speed and all that stuff?
Fan speed, you have some buttons up here that will control the fan speed and then the compressor speed as well. In terms of temperature, it just blows cold air.
Do I have any options when it comes to batteries?
Yeah, so these are the batteries that you can buy with the unit. You can use a Jackery, which is something like this. It comes with a 110 plug-in that you can just plug right into it.
Can it run off a 12-volt system?
Yes, so we have a 12 to 24 volt converter. That comes with a hard wire that you can hardwire into a 12 volt battery system, and it also comes with a cigarette lighter plug-in that will be able to charge the batteries as well.
Now, what if I'm really off the grid? Then what?
So you can use solar. We actually sell a 100-watt solar panel. It would charge it a little bit slower. The normal charge time is about 5 hours, so it might take 7 to 8 hours, but you can charge it on solar.
How easy is this to carry around?
So the unit itself weighs 15 pounds, and if you add a battery, you're at about 28 pounds, so super light.
And then, of course, when you're out and about, you've got a lot of accessories, a lot of things hooked up with USB and things like that. Mm-hmm. Can I use that with the Zero Breeze?
With the batteries, yeah. So we have some USB ports up there that you can charge your phone off of. It is going to reduce the runtime of the AC if you're charging separate things, but you can do it.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I mentioned overlanders and campers. Who are the kind of folks you talk to that are using this and really getting benefits from Zero Breeze?
Rooftop tents. So people who have rooftop tents in the summer, they'll put this in their tent. Trailers like this. Van life vans, they'll use it to cool down their vans as well.
Of course, when you're overlanding or off-roading, this thing's going to take all kinds of abuse from weather and from the conditions. How durable is it?
So shock-proof and water-resistant. A lot of people take them in their trailers or in their cabs of the cars where they're off-roading, and they do totally fine. And then we were in Florida not too long ago, and it started to pour rain, and these sat out there running perfectly fine. So yeah, water-resistant, shock-proof.
Excellent. What about accessories? What can I get to complement my Zero Breeze?
So we do have a power extension dock that lets you do a few things. It lets you hook up 2 batteries, run the unit, 10 to 12 hours of runtime. You can charge both batteries with that as well, or you can run the unit and charge the battery at the same time with that.
You go to a lot of shows. What are the reactions you get from folks who are looking at Zero Breeze for the first time?
We get a lot of people who have seen us online but actually haven't seen the unit in person, and we have them running at the shows, and people are shocked that it actually works, that it's a real compressor system and refrigerant. You know, it brings the temperature down 25, 30 degrees. They'll end up buying one right on the spot too.
Well, we were surprised too when they brought it in. The Zero Breeze really does work. This thing is amazing. You can find it at zerobreeze.com.
What's an engine with no motor oil? It's a big molten metal pile. It's not going to function at all. This Amsoil segment's all about motor oil 101. And Len, everybody knows it protects and it lubricates, so let's do a little demo here. Listen to this. These are 2 pieces of metal with no oil between them, and you can hear that. Just a couple of drops. We don't need a whole lot. See how accurate you are, Len? Pretty good. Put it between there and you can't hear it. It's actually producing that layer between there, and that's the job of the motor oil, but it's a lot deeper than that. Speak to this graphic here. That's how it actually works.
Right, this graphic represents, the yellow represents the oil that's being forced into that bearing clearance by the pump. And what you're looking for there is as the shaft turns, it actually builds an oil wedge that those parts are riding on. And you want to maintain that at all costs. You don't want to see parts touching.
Yeah, and if you do, you end up getting something like this here. Now, you can see this bearing. This is a main bearing, and this is a thrust bearing, and it's totally wiped out from that metal-to-metal contact. It should look something like this, and this one's been in there for a while, did a good job. We ran Amsoil. Now you can see the graphic right here. There's the leading competitor, and Amsoil, bearings and oil go together, and it makes a big difference. So right there's the oil gallery as well. Oil has to travel through the engine, and these new technologies have stuff on the top of the engine. It's got to get there. It's like a balloon. You need oil pressure. Oil is responsible for that.
That's correct. And it's quite a distance that it has to travel. And so that takes time. So the oil needs to move. You get into some of these new technologies, start-stop technology. The engine shuts off when you're at a stop sign. When you let your foot off the brake, it starts back up. You could be partway through the intersection before that vehicle has any oil pressure. So it's critical that the oil have good quality base oil, and that you have the proper amount of anti-wear additive to keep those bearings in great shape and to keep that engine running properly.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm an automotive instructor, never thought of that. Every time that car's stopping 10, 20, 30, 50 times a day now with start-stop technology, you're losing oil pressure. So you want good oil? Get the Amsoil. Go to their website at www.amsoil.com.
We're going to do more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com next week. We hope you join us then. In the meantime, if you have a product you want to see on our show, email me, Dave at MotorheadGarage.tv. We'll get you here in the studio. From our entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, we'll see you next time. Have a great week.